welcome to this episode of Ask A. I believe this is number 14, so by this time you guys kind of know the drill, and we're just going to dive right into today's topic, which is going to be all about home birth, midwife-led birth, med-free birth, which some of you guys may know I have done too, with Cora and Isa. And even today, with Isa being almost 18 months old, I still get questions and still have people that are curious. So I thought, why not kind of go over the top 3 questions that I hear and let you guys kind of get a first-hand experience or at least look at what my experience was like. So the number one thing that I always hear is, why would you do that? Why, if you have the choice of taking meds and, the epidural and all that kind of modern day medicine, why would you go the opposite way and not opt for those things? And, for me, not even opt to be in a hospital. So for us, Orlando and I watched The Business of Being Born when we were really not that far along expecting Cora. And that whole documentary really, like a lot of people, changed my entire perspective on birth and delivery. And, I had grown up, my mom had all 6 of us in the hospital. She was, more or less natural birth, but, she didn't have any C-sections, but she was in a hospital setting, went the doctor route, no problems. I just assumed that was probably what I was going to do as well. But after kind of seeing that documentary, it really made me, question a lot of things about the modern, way that we have set up the system to treat women in that hospital birth setting. So I kind of investigated my options. So yeah, I think overall the concept of natural birth for me felt like more of an empowering experience. It was really important to me that I feel, in control of my body and making decisions for myself and for my family, and the fact that I was low risk, in both of my pregnancies meant that I was a candidate for midwife birth and birth center and home birth and everything. And it works, both of my girls still have birth certificates, both of them still have, all of their vaccines and everything. So it was solely the part of giving birth that I didn't want to be in the hospital. And, to me, a hospital setting just feels very clinical and cold and not comforting. And I wanted to be able to move and eat and drink and, have my doula there with, which we'll kind of get into the next question. But to have all these people surrounding me that I wanted there, and not so much, people I didn't know, and not be able to have the experience that I wanted. So I would highly recommend you kind of look into it for yourself if you feel like that's something that you might be interested in, or if you have a friend who's expecting or what have you. Just keep an open mind and think about it, and you would be shocked how many people these days are going the midwife route and are comfortable doing that. It's more than you think, and the sort of scare tactics that you think would pop up were a total non-issue for me, for both of my births. So the next question that people inevitably have is, okay, yeah, I could see, you want to have this like earthy, peaceful, beautiful, magical birth, but you're still going to be in some pain. So what do they actually do for your pain? So again, very legitimate question. I am not one of those people that just coughed and my baby came out. I had intense and with Cora very long labors. With Isa, it wasn't nearly as long hours-wise, but it still was extremely, intense, I guess is a good word for it. So one of the things that I did to kind of prepare myself for pain was I read the book Birthing from Within. It's a really beautiful, kind of takes you through the journey of being pregnant and preparing yourself for this, this time that your body is going through and this massive workout that your body is about to undergo of labor, because it's like you're running a marathon, and you have to mentally and physically prepare yourself for that if you want to have a med-free, pain-free birth, or not pain-free, medication-free birth. So that book teaches a lot of pain techniques. There's actually a lot of birthing from within classes. There's a lot of natural birth education out there that I would recommend just diving into as much as you possibly can. One of the things that we would always do is if you hold an ice cube in your hand, Orlando and I would do it together, and holding an ice cube for 30 seconds or a minute, about as long as your worst contraction is going to be. It doesn't sound bad, but then when you're actually holding the ice cube, you realize this is actually kind of tough, and you really have to focus on the pain management techniques that they're teaching you, whether it's, focusing on something else besides the pain, or, they've got a lot of different coping techniques that are helpful, and you can test them out for yourself before you're actually in labor, to kind of get yourself prepped as much as you possibly can. But little things like that if I was in a hospital setting, I would not have been able to do, and I would have just been laying there on a bed thinking about how much it hurts. And I know I can totally understand why women want pain medication after that sort of experience. So again, having something to distract yourself. I had a doula for my second, Tina Castellanos was my doula for Isa, and she is one of those amazing women who can, put pressure on your lower back in just that right spot that it, helps you through that next contraction. Or, your midwife will tell you, hey, if we, get you on all fours and have you, lean against this exercise ball, that's really going to help take the pressure off of your, lower back, or help baby flip so that you're not quite in such an uncomfortable position. So it's, these are things that women knew generations and generations ago, from watching their mom give birth and watching their, having their grandmother teach them all these things. But we've all kind of, as a society, lost these things. And so a midwife and your doula are two people who can 100% help you kind of tap into that knowledge, so that you're not just sitting there suffering, and you're working through these contractions one by one, and then, before you know it, you've got a baby. So there's definitely far, far more options to manage the pain than what you would ever believe, and that you can ever use in a single labor. So it's just a matter of kind of digging into it, and you've got a full 9 months to prepare, and I highly suggest using all 9 months. So then the last question that we get sometimes is, okay, you did it, you can check that off the list. Would you really want to do that again? Would you really go through that again? So the big question, I guess, there is, do we want to have a third baby? But if we, put that aside for a minute and say, okay, yeah, let's just say we're having a third baby, 100% I would want to give birth at home again. I think it's just, I can't express how sad it makes me when I hear stories of women who feel like they lost a part of themselves when they were giving birth. That someone, the doctors or the nurses or a rude, hospital staff, or, just the way things went in the hospital. Maybe it was no fault of anyone, but just the way that it went made them feel like they failed, or they were less of a woman, or they didn't have the experience that they wanted. And I guess I feel like when you get on the other side of giving birth, you're gonna have to be an amazing mom. And if you walk out of that experience feeling defeated and frustrated and hurt, that has a strong effect on the kind of mother that you're then going to feel capable of being. Whereas if you're in a situation where you feel strong and secure and powerful and 100%, I am woman, hear me roar, that again is going to have a huge impact on the kind of mother that you can be. And I feel like I've said this a lot of times, and maybe you guys are tired of hearing me talk about it, and it's been 18 months already since you gave birth the last time, Akila. Stop talking about it. But I guess I just want to make sure that anybody who's out there and is considering, is kind of torn between the two, would really give a midwife birth or birthing center or at home or wherever, however you want to set it up for yourself, to really give that an honest, good look. Because I feel like for me, it was a completely life-changing experience, and I would want that, for my sisters and for, my sister-in-law and anybody, that is going to be giving birth, I think deserves the right to choose that for themselves. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, if there's anything that I didn't talk about here that you're really curious about, or if you have concerns or questions, or you want to know the nitty-gritty of what it was like, I'll link to the birth stories for both the girls as well in the link below. And if you have any other questions, like I said, just let me know, and we will see you guys next time.